Josh, for whatever reason, lost his temper.
A tenant's shocking tantrum?
He took out a knife and he chopped out the entire internal lighting system of my kitchen.
Did you call the police?
No.
Or a landlord hoping to spark a payday?
Josh had a temperament that would go from sullen to very explosive at times.
I don't understand why a man who's sane would have a nut living in their house for 5 months.
Judge Judy.
Who rented the room? That would be you. Your first name is?
Joshua.
You are?
Gerald, his father.
How old are you?
22.
When did you rent the room from the defendant?
June 1st, 2017 through March of 2018.
And you want your security deposit back?
Correct.
Including rent.
I didn't ask you anything. You want your security deposit back?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Did you have a lease with him?
I did, Your Honor.
That went from when to when?
1 year, so it would have been June 1st, 2017 through May 31st, 2018.
You moved out early,
Correct.
so you broke the lease.
Your Honor, I had first learned that Mr. Wiseman...
No. My question is, you had a contract.
Correct.
You moved out. Unless you paid rent for April and May, you broke the lease. Did you pay the rent?
We paid the rent.
Fine. So you did not break the lease.
Correct.
Correct. Now, I'd like you to tell me, Joshua, what happened to you in either February or March?
Mid-February, I believe it was the 16th, I was driving from the property down to the school.
Did you go to school?
Yes, I was attending college.
And what happened next?
Driving down, I had slid off the road and wrecked my car. At that point, I had already been...
Just a second. Were you injured?
Thankfully, I was not.
And?
I had already been concerned over the property.
I don't care what you had been concerned about. Your concern is not of a concern to me. February 16th, you had a car accident and wrecked your car. What happened after that? Did you get another car to go to school?
At that point, I realized I needed to find an apartment within walking distance to the school.
So after you had the car accident, you wanted to move closer to school.
Exactly.
Did you find an apartment closer to school?
I did.
When did you move in?
Mid-March.
Where did you live between mid-February and March, mid-March?
I spent a week.
Where?
1 week was in a dorm room. A friend let me stay in his dorm room.
1 week. Well, now, was that in February or March?
That was February.
Was that right after the accident?
Yes.
So that was the week after the accident. You lived in a dorm room.
Yes.
And then where did you live?
My father brought me a car.
Just a minute. So your father got you another car.
Correct.
That was the second week after the accident.
I believe so, yes.
And then where did you live?
At that point, I had already found another apartment. And as I was...
That's in February, so that would have been the fourth week in February.
Correct.
The fourth week in February, you lived with whom?
I had spent some time back at the property because I now had transportation.
So far, we're doing fine. Got it?
Yes.
So the fourth week in February and the first 2 weeks in March, you lived at the apartment until you found accommodations closer to campus.
Correct.
On what date did you move into the new accommodations?
I believe it was March 13th, Your Honor. We have it written down, though.
Great. And then you paid rent through the end of your lease.
Correct.
How much was your security deposit?
$475.
How much was your rent?
$475.
Now, the plaintiff moved out of his room that was rented in your home. You had other roommates.
Yes.
How many others?
3.
So you had 3 other roommates. He rented a room.
Yes.
Do you rent or own the house?
I own the house.
You did not return, despite the fact that they paid rent, so they're not in breach of the lease. You did not return his security deposit. Do you want to tell me why?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Josh had a temperament that would go from sullen to very, very explosive at times. I got a call from one of the other tenants that
Don't tell me what anybody else said to you,
Okay,
sir.
don't worry.
Do you live in the house as well?
Yes, I do.
I want you to tell me why you didn't return his security. Put your hand down.